Are you someone who has a product strategy round scheduled in a couple of days and are worrying sick on how to prepare for it? Or are you someone who's interested in understanding all the different rounds that happen for a product interview and just want to understand how to answer them? Worry not, my friend. In this video, I'll try to answer almost all of your questions. Hi guys, my name is Arushi and I have about 6+ years of experience building tech products. In this time, I worked across unicorns in India and in Dubai, and in this channel, I try to answer all your questions regarding product management. So this video is a part of a series of videos where we'll try to go through all the different rounds that happen in a product management interview, and I will also help you get prepared on how to crack all of those rounds. Usually, there's a combination of these 4 rounds, product design, product strategy, product analytics, and then probably a bar raiser. This video will talk about one of the 4, product strategy. And to be honest guys, in my opinion, this round is the most fun round. So in this video, we'll go through a sample question and I'll tell you how you can best answer such question. I will try to not give you a proper framework like the Porter's 5 forces or the SWOT analysis, because I feel that is too academic, but I will try to give you a logical way of thinking it through, because eventually that's what an interviewer is really trying to test in the interview. So let's imagine that the question is that the number of hours a customer spends on Netflix is going down. How will you as a product manager help Netflix build a strategy to solve this in the long term? That's it. That's the question. An ill-prepared candidate could do one of the following. Start blabbering out solutions. Maybe let's go to health tech because that's the new thing in the world of technology. Or maybe let's do Web3 because that's cool. Or an ill-prepared candidate could just sit silently and look around because I don't know where to start. Or worse off, he could start in a good place but then get confused and blabber away. Now since you're already here, I know you don't want to be that ill-prepared candidate, right? So let's try to understand how a prepared candidate would actually tackle this question. The best way to start is to ask clarifying questions. And guys, in product management, you don't do any solving until you understand what are we solving for. So the best clarifying question is, what is the purpose? What is the agenda? What are we trying to do? Maybe in this case, since you already know that the metric is going down, maybe ask definition of the metric. How do you even define the average hours? And so on. Ask clarifying questions about such things. So the question that we have in that the clarifying questions could be, what are we trying to solve here? Second, what is the formula of that metric? And the third one could be, are there any constraints that we should be working in? In case, the answers to the questions could be, we are trying to increase the average time spent. We calculate this in minute per user and no such constraints, but you don't have to get into details of tech implementations, just strategy is good. Now that you understand the answers to your clarifying questions, you know what's the agenda here. Now is the time to understand the ecosystem. You must understand that no strategy gets done in a silo. Eventually, any organization plays to its strengths and to the weakness of its competitors. So it's very important that you understand the ecosystem that you're playing in and see what is it or where is it that you can stand out. To do that, you must do 2 things. Understand the organization that you're solving for and understand its competition. There are a few more things that you should look out when you're looking at the ecosystem. Without calling out any specific framework, I think the 3-4 things that are important is of course the competition, the customers, what are the substitutes like, and what are the suppliers to that ecosystem or to that organization. This is heavily drawn from Porter's 5 forces, where we also look at threat of new entrants. But in this case, there is no threat of new entrants really. So we could not call out that I'm using Porter's 5 forces and just see what logically makes sense. But yes, if you want to have a structure, if you want to know what are the couple of things that you can look at, Porter's 5 forces is a good structure to start with, or a good MECE framework to go back to. So guys, it's possible that not all of the components of the Porter's 5 forces would make sense for your case. So pick up whatever makes sense and make it your own. Given the problem statement, let's look at all the competition and probably substitutes of Netflix, because like the question said, the average amount of time spent is going down. So folks could either take it down to the competition or could also take it down to the substitutes. For example, cooking is a substitute to watching a movie on Netflix, so I could maybe be going back to cooking or reading a novel, etc. Right? My opinion, the competition and substitutes could be, let's say, the other OTT platforms like Amazon Prime, then social platforms like Instagram, content platform like YouTube, and finally the substitutes like offline activities of cooking, reading, etc. I combine them all into one activity of substitutes. So like I said before, the best strategy is to play to your strengths and to counter your opponent's weakness. So to do that, let's do a strength weakness analysis of our competition and ourselves. In this table, I'm writing down all the competition that we came up and the substitutes and their strength and weakness. By the way, I'm doing away with substitutes over here right now because we know from the ecosystem that right now the amount of time people are spending online has actually gone up. So it's definitely possible that books and cooking is not taking away any time from Netflix for sure. It's probably one of the competitors. So we'll keep the offline activities away and we'll just look at the competition. However, in substitutes, we could look at other e-commerce players or other apps sitting on a person's mobile. But again, since Netflix use case is very specific to content, we'll look at only the competition, which is different content websites. So the pro of Netflix is that it has a great recommendation system and it is a great platform. It also has a lot of good content. Its con could be that although it has a good content, generally, it does not have a lot of regional content. And the second, that it's a little too pricey. Prime, the pros are that it has the moat of Amazon Prime and it also has a lot of good regional content. As far as the cons go, although the regional content is there, but overall the content is not as great as Netflix has. And secondly, it has ads. YouTube, it's free and unlimited content. Well, as far as the cons go, well, ads is another con here, and if you want to get good content, premium content, then even on YouTube you have to pay for it. Instagram has a lot of social content and it's a social network, so that's a good pro, it's a good mode for Instagram. And secondly, it has unlimited content. But the cons is that it is only on a specific device, only on your mobile, so it's not device agnostic. And the second thing is that no premium content is available. So now that we have done the pro and con analysis, we can look at what are the areas that we shine at and what are the weaknesses of our competitors that we can go and target. Now, one thing before you really go think about this, call it out during the interview that what is the ambition of Netflix, so what is the vision of Netflix. Netflix as a platform has a vision of becoming the best global entertainment distribution service. If that's what Netflix wants to be, then it may want to stick with premium content and not go to the user generated content setup. So that's something that we will call out, that that's not a strength that we would like to build on our platform. Of course, since this is a 30 to 40 minute interview, you don't have to boil the ocean. You just have to give a logical rationale for why we are making the choice that we are making. Once you've picked the direction by calling out which cons or which weaknesses of the competition that you will impact or hammer at, the next step is to make this strategy real. Or what would Netflix really do to make this strategy a reality? Say we picked up this moat angle from Amazon that we need to get people to be more invested onto Netflix, and we picked the social angle as the way we want to do it. Netflix can't be a user-generated social platform like Instagram because it does not want to go that direction. It wants to stay in the premium content setup. Going back to Netflix's pros, we know that we have a great recommendation algorithm. We can build on that. We can find people who are similar to each other based on this recommendation algorithm and maybe create rooms for them to discuss and debate or talk about movies that they love. We can also take the social angle outside of Netflix and say, okay, if you want to watch a movie with your friends and family who are not located with you but are, living in a separate country, continent, etc., you can watch a movie along with them. They already have a sharing of screen feature. What they can also do is that they can probably have sharing of videos or have a Zoom integrated along with the Netflix channel, where you, while watching a movie, you can also talk to your friends, do jokes around the movie and really enjoy a theater experience with your friends. This way we can create a social ecosystem without really going to beat the Instagrams of the world. Now that we have briefly listed down our approach, we should also call out what are the risks over here. The first biggest risk is that what we are proposing here is actually possible as well. So we could play Netflix, share the passwords with each other and just have a Zoom or a WhatsApp video call on the side to just do our chit chat. What is or how is Netflix really helping us here? So the ecosystem or the user experience has to be so simple that we're able to beat something like a WhatsApp in this scenario. So since this is a strategy interview, you don't have to go deeper than this to tell the interviewer how you would actually build out the experience and so on. But over here, you could just simply summarize what you've discussed so far and ask the interviewer if you've missed something or if they'd like you to cover more details. But in all likelihood, you would have already covered 30 to 40 minutes in doing all of this. So you can take a pause over here and close the answer. So guys, summarizing what we've discussed so far, what you have to start with is ask clarifying questions. Point number 2, once your questions have been answered, then you look at the competitive ecosystem. So you try to understand the organization itself and its competition. You could refer to the Porter's 5 forces and see in this particular questions which of them makes sense, and then list out the pros and cons or the strengths and the weaknesses of each of those elements. Once you've done that, you try to identify what is the vision of the organization or what is the direction that this organization would likely take. And given this vision and the strengths and the weaknesses, try to play at your competition's weaknesses and your own strengths. You will eventually figure out 1 or 2 possible alternates on how they can approach. Bring in your creative hat at this point in time, suggest a solution, and finally lay out the risks and summarize. So that's how you should answer a product strategy interview. I hope this video helped you a lot. Thank you for watching so far, and please like and subscribe to this channel if you find the content useful. And I'll see you next time. Ta-da!